Hey, Radical, did what we do.
Hey, what's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm basically, sharing with you guys how it is that I was able to get my hands on my SSL UC1 plugin controller. And as far as like what it's been like to have a plugin controller, I mean, I've had controllers before, obviously MIDI controllers and things like that. And I even to this day still got a couple consoles. I have a Control 24 and a Sony RMX 100. And this item here, I kind of had my eye on it for a while. I've seen a few videos on it on YouTube, and I was kind of on the fence, or in one hand I really wanted it because I love the layout of the buttons, but there was also the price as well. As you guys can see, it's not a cheap item. It cost about $800 retail. It says $719 there on Sweetwater, but in reality when you click on it, it's really $799, which is $800. Now there is one used one on Reverb Nation for about 500 something bucks. Yeah, definitely, it was something where like I'm so used to like doing this mixing stuff, some of it with my consoles that I already have. Though I really love this brand, as you guys can tell. Been collecting their plugins for a while, and it's not my only SSL item, but just so you guys know, I've been fortunate enough to have found the item at a spectacular price of just $382. This was on eBay, and this was actually new. And I was a little bit skeptical at first because, again, $800 to just $382, it's literally like almost $500 worth of savings. And so when this thing arrived in the mail, I didn't know what to expect, but lo and behold, it was the item. And when I saw that it was the item, I was definitely pleased. I didn't have doubts I was gonna get it because the seller seems super professional and legit, and this guy seemed like somebody that's selling gear on a regular, and no complaints to the seller. He was really like professional in that regard and answered all my questions. And so sure enough, I received it. But even then, just because of the price that I got it for, I mean, $382 from $800, I mean, I was still like, is there something wrong with it? Maybe there's some kind of malfunction. I'm here to tell you guys, after having this puppy already for a few days already, almost like a week plus, and I've been using it non-stop. It's been such a awesome find for me. But yeah, guys, these are pretty much the instructions. The item arrived in immaculate condition, and the instructions here just tell you pretty much just to register it online to your account, and then you're able to download their software bundle. Another thing that I found really cool and thoughtful of SSL is the company that makes the product, this item, is that they included adapters and cables for pretty much all kinds of wall outlets from different parts of the world, which I found that just let me know right there how much they try to cater to their customers, and this how reputable and this how prestigious they are as a brand in music production equipment. But yeah, guys, this is pretty much it sitting on my living room, kind of like one of my living room tables, where I just kind of do little editing here and there, and this will also be some of my travel stuff when I do travel. And this is the unit after I took it out the box, just inspecting it was in perfect condition, and then I went to plugging it up, and after installing it, lo and behold, here was the thing up and running. And really wonderful feature that I love is how you could just control everything on the mixer so fast and so effortlessly, and it's very intuitively, the way it automatically recognizes plugins and it controls pretty much, I would say 99% of plugins, I would say, just to not say 100, because it's so easy. And when it don't, you can map them so easily too. It's incredible. It's multi options to map them. Here we have the bus compressor dB meter, and this pretty much tells you how much compression you're applying to a bus, channel, or signal. It's so awesome to look at such high quality. The rotaries, they feel really sturdy and quality to the touch. And I also love the LCD screen, you know, how you can skip to your tracks and they're exactly how you named them. By the way, I'm running mine out of FL Studio, guys. So if any of you guys had doubts whether you can, you know, use this in conjunction with FL Studio, here's the proof that you can. Because yeah, that's how pretty much I've been rocking this one. Didn't see too many YouTube videos in regards to people that use FL Studio having this implemented. So that's also was kind of like my doubts of buying it in the first place. But I gotta tell you guys, after having it and own it, this is one of those pieces of gear that like you own and then you kind of wish that you would have had it the whole time, and it changes the way you look at things. Maybe not want to part ways with it. And yeah, guys, here we have some of the LEDs, DB, you know, display lights there. They're pretty cool. This sort of reminds me also like a DJ mixer in a way, but of course, if you look at the layout, that's reminiscent of the SSL channels, you know, EQs and also the compression modules. The SSL 360 software, which is basically kind of like a hub for you connecting it and mapping it. And also it is a digital console mixer, which is kind of like a separate, I wouldn't say a DAW, but it's just like a DAW, but it's more like just for a mixer, or like a digital console basically, or like a big plugin that it's outside of your FL Studio or Pro Tools or whatever you use, Logic, it don't matter. And this thing, you know, will basically work in parallel with your software. You don't have to save anything in it at all. It automatically remembers what it is because it's being saved. It's just reflecting back what it's programming already in your DAW, you know, and so it doesn't need to recall anything. The DAW is feeding it the information because it's saved in your save file of the DAW. And I found that really cool and really different with different controllers I've owned in the past. But yeah, guys, so just really awesome how you can just, once you get used to just the ability to cycle through your tracks and they're already named for you and it's already all mapped. You know, I have my virtual console right now. It's pretty much I would say almost like a you know, if you just channel strip, I will call this a, you know, a channel strip heaven. You know, I have basically the first 4 tracks are, you know, their main 4 channel strips, you know, the B, the G, the E, and channel strip 2. And look, right here I'm using the rotary and changing the channels on the screen to pick the channels I want to work on. You can like so fast too, like your workflow will improve so much with this unit in your arsenal that you'll be able to just tweak, EQ, compress, and do all these things on this whole track, almost like if you rented out a big studio just to work on a console. And yeah, guys, what you hear in the background is just like a kind of like a track that I made. Just, you know, I just put something together really quick just to kind of like for this video and just to test the, you know, the actual SSL 360 and the control unit, the UC1 by SSL. And so yeah, guys, this is pretty much the track in FL Studio right here, and I kind of have it in a window just floating above the SSL console, the digital console, which is like a separate DAW, again a separate program, but you know, it's very automatic, the program, and the way it works in conjunctions with your DAWs. And so, you know, you pretty much just load your plugins as you would normally, as far as like the SSL plugins. And then for the plugins that are not made by SSL, you simply just have to download either the SSL Link VST plugin or the SSL Bus Compressor Link if you're gonna use one of their bus compressors on your master track, for example. Here I got an SSL Link, and so if you notice, there's a drop-down menu here. There's also a section where you can pick a lot of plugins and scan for all your plugins, you know, and that's that right there. And this is incredible. Like the way they've designed this, like once you've gone through all the setup, like at that point you're just cooking. And the way that this machine helps you control and cycle, and that's the key word, cycle. The way it lets you just cycle and automatically, the lights change as you're cycling to your tracks, everything, all your parameters and your settings so fast. It lets you make tweaks on a mix so easily and so rapid. It's literally, it's incredible, because now it's kind of like, now I'm basically making the beats with this console already running in the background, and just instead of mixing it so much in my FL Studio or your DAW mixer, I'm pretty much just mixing it there on the SSL board, where I already have the channel strips already. As you guys can see on this drop down menu, I was able to pick a plugin from Waves. Channel strip from Waves right here, and with no issues it loaded it up. And at this point I can pretty much just control it already with the UC1. If you're used to already EQing, compressing, pretty much just the way the arrangement and the knobs are on this SSL type of consoles, channel strips, this will feel so natural after a while, and almost like it's a certain way of it that you're just okay. It's just the point of it is so that at some point you don't have to look at the screen anymore. So this is kind of like how this stuff begins to evolve after you start tweaking the board, and you start using all these individual channel strips, these virtual modules. By the way, when you buy these plugins from SSL, they automatically are like a channel strip module that you see basically in the track itself. And it's almost like if you load this channel strip right on your mixer on FL Studio or your DAW, it will automatically load that module in your background SSL 360 console. Again, it's this thing, for what it is, it may seem like it's adding a bunch of extra work, but it's the opposite, if you guys think that, because after you've done setting it up, it's just like, it's workflow heaven to me. It really is. And it's definitely gotten me way more creative with my mixing, and putting way more emphasis on mixing as I am on the actual creative process and everything. And I'm really like the sound I'm getting out of it, honestly, And so that mixer there is pretty much just an arrangement of different plugins. This one here is an SSL console channel strip from your Universal Audio, and sure enough, it's already mapped, and I'm tweaking it already with the controller. And on this right here, what you're hearing is basically a string part, where I'm not gonna front, it's kind of like on a Scott Storch kind of vibe, those string chords you hear right there. And so I was kind of making kind of like a down south type of track with a vibe a la Scott Storch mixed in it too. It's kind of like what I was feeling when I got this piece here and I started cooking. And guys, as you guys can see, I pretty much got different kind of channel strips going for, as far as like the kick and the snare and the hi-hat and the 808. And so very clean. And then I also have all this stuff as well running through an SSL bus compressor on the master channel, which again, also it's all right there on the UC1, letting you make those tweaks even in real time. They say, oh man, I'm crunching it too much. You're right there. Your hands away from just boom, boom, right there and fixing it. Guys, so being able to EQ and compress all these individual tracks with these channel strips like this, it's almost like it changes even the way you create as well too, and it makes it less of a tedious kind of like, I have this idea, but now I gotta do this and this and this. if you're going through something like that in your creative process, at least for me, this thing switched that. It switched it to something that I'm almost like, it's fun to do on using this controller. It really is, because you're like interacting with it in real time so fast. You know, you can be controlling a couple of knobs at once or whatever, you know, and really getting some tweaks done and finding those juicy spots on those frequencies, and then sure enough compressing it, attacking it, and just you know controlling it, etc. And just I'm super pleased with this, and actually getting this piece now does have me considering getting me the UF8 and the UF1, you know, as a lot of people do. So I had my eye on it for a long time, obviously, because as you guys know already, probably if you follow my channel, that I've been collecting these SSL plugins for a while. Yeah, guys, and then on this machine, this plugin controller, I would put it like this: it kind of makes you feel like you're cooking, but then at the same time, you're almost like in your mind, you're Dr. Dre, and you're over here trying to get that SSL. You're mixing the chronic using the, you know, the G channel right there, you know, and so it's really a vibe. It's really what I'm trying to say here. Alright guys, that's gonna go ahead and do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please do make sure to slap a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Make sure you turn notifications on so you don't miss out on my future uploads. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. Hope you guys are having an awesome day out there. And with that one, I'm outie fam. Peace.